right, Lynn, thank you very much. And Gary, certainly we echo the congratulations to the LSU Tigers and Nick Saban, and also to the Oklahoma Sooners. This was a very fiercely fought football game. Oklahoma appeared to be out of it. They gave themselves a chance. They were courageous coming down the stretch. No question the best team won this football game, and they certainly deserve the spoils here tonight at the Nokia Sugar Bowl. It's been a pleasure being around these two coaches. You can't ask for two better guys, Gary.
Hey, you know, Brent, you're right. There's a lot of opinions about this stuff, and I'll leave that to those guys. I know one thing. We have opinions, but nobody can tell me who could win this football game between these teams. They on the field fought tonight, and that's the way it should be solved. But Nick Saban got $1,001,001. Here's the dollar, Brent. Would you give him to the dollar? You can take care of the million, okay?
You shorted him a mil. He's up at 2.5 now. So Nick Saban becomes, for the moment, the highest salary coach in college football. There's a clause in the contract, in case you didn't hear the story, that he gets $1 more that Gary handed me, and that makes him $1 richer tonight than Bobby Stoops. And I just hope that both of these fine fellows are going to be approached by the NFL. They're both quality class guys. I hope they stay right where they are. They're so good for college football, and they've both done wonderful jobs. Right now, we're going to bid adieu. Gary, it's been a great season
game.
with you, partner.
Thanks, Brent.
Love tonight. Jack Arute, Lynn Swan down below, and we'll wrap it up from here and send you to our guys, our quarterback, John Saunders, with Terry Bowden and Craig James. And John, another wonderful job throughout the season in the studio.
And the same to you, Brandon. It finishes up just a terrific season. Let's put one thing to rest for the first time. Those people who said Oklahoma didn't belong here because they lost to Kansas State, dead wrong. Didn't see this game.
There's no doubt about it. And all those people that say who would win between LSU and USC, if you're an expert analyst and you're honest, you could not tell unless they played each other. If the AP poll picks USC as a champion, they'll deserve it. But that team holding up that ADT championship trophy, they deserve a championship too.
This corner of the end zone over here, we're just shouting one more game, and I think that's what college football fans would love to see, at least in this particular season, one more game. You're right, you can't say who'd win between USC and LSU, two great football teams. I'll say this, though. This atmosphere right here in this Nokia Sugar Bowl was a national championship atmosphere. We enjoyed the Rose Bowl. We enjoyed the season. This was incredible. What a way to finish the season.
My take on this is, would I like to see USC face LSU? Absolutely. Am I disappointed they won't? Not at all. We have two very worthy champions. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next year with another terrific season of college football on ABC.
Postgame show live from New Orleans.
It was a pretty sight to begin the game. Jessica Simpson at midfield singing the national anthem, a huge American flag in the shape of the United States. But the game did not end well for the Oklahoma Sooners, who have lost their last two football games of the season and finished 12-2, and LSU shares the national championship with USC. The University of Oklahoma is walking to the podium right now. Looks like we'll have head coach Bob Stoops, who will take it to that press conference when we have him. But Brent, a great LSU team tonight, especially on defense. Just stopped the Sooners. Oklahoma could not get any energy going on offense until the fourth quarter, and then their drive kind of broke down late in the game. They could not throw the ball tonight. That was the key.
Key, no ifs, ands, or buts. They ran the ball very nicely on that long drive that almost ended up in a touchdown, but they tried to throw the ball down toward the stretch deep in the red zone, and they couldn't cash in.
Oklahoma had several plays tonight that they will get to more of that here in a second. Bob Stoops is now addressing the media inside the Superdome.
News conference, as you see here, we have Coach Stoops, Jason White, and Derek Strait. We also have some other players that have joined us, but we will not start those interviews until we're finished here, and we'll try to keep this as short and simple as we can, probably 10 minutes or so here. If you will please, when you have a question, raise your hand, and we do have a couple mic helpers out in the audience there. If you'll wait for the mic to get to you, I'll ask Coach Stoops at this time to start things off with just some opening comments. Coach.
First, I want to compliment Coach Saban and their team, their staff. Congratulate them on a great, well-played game and their championship. I tell you, it was great competing with them. We had an excellent game out there, and hard fought to the end. The way the guys competed, and again, I appreciate and admire the way their players played, and I also could not be more proud of the way our players competed to the end of the game. Kept giving ourselves, chances and opportunities to win. In the end, we weren't quite good enough to get it done, and LSU made the plays in the end that made the difference to win. But again, could not be more proud. The guys I'm in the locker room with, the guys I've fought on the field with all day. And, sometimes it just, it doesn't work out. Another team plays better than you, or coaches better than me, or all of us, and that's what happens. So, but again, it's not easy to get here. And I appreciate the fight in my team, and that's what matters to me most.
Jason, your thoughts?
We played a great team tonight in LSU. They made the plays, as Coach said, and we didn't. We came in prepared, and we didn't execute tonight. We got beat.
Derek.
That's pretty much the same as what Coach and Jason said.
Okay.
Well, and, in the end, you look at our execution, I think key factors were the number of penalties. I'll never recall us having 11 penalties, in a game. That was a major factor. A couple of penalties took 2 turnovers away from us on defense. Several penalties on offense put us in the hole, backed us up. And, you can't win like that. In the first half, I felt our tackling in the secondary primarily. We missed several tackles in position right there to make some good run stops. And you miss a tackle, and we gave up a few big plays early that in the end we weren't able to end up overcoming. And then I thought offensive execution at times, we needed to be a little bit better there to pick up, again, to have an opportunity to score a few more points.
Questions? Right here.
Jason, could you talk about LSU's defense and the problems it caused?
They're a great defense. They didn't even blitz as much as we planned on. So, they got great athletes all over the field, and they executed well tonight. And they out-executed us, and we didn't execute through most of the night. So, you got to give them their credit.
Right here.
Roll to the right.
Touchdown, sort of the interception for a touchdown, what you saw. Were you surprised that he dropped into coverage a little bit, and kind of what developed on that play?
Yeah, as I dropped back, I didn't even see him drop out in the defensive end, dropped out in the coverage. I didn't even see him drop out, and I thought I had my wide receiver wide open, so I threw it.
We have one here in the center.
Hey, Bob, you guys were knocking them back on their heels on that last drive going in to tie it with the run game, and then you threw 8 straight passes to end it. Reason for that, was it their defense, or you just saw something you thought you could work?
That's right. Well, I'm not going to sit here and second-guess my coaches who are making the play calls. Sure. And you know what? That's right. I'm not going to sit here and act like just because our guys didn't make plays, we probably should have made some better decisions as coaches, too. You're right. In the end, probably should have, somewhere in those, at that time, first or second down, still we were picking up 5 and 6, so maybe they were a little bit tired on that drive and should have stuck with it.
Right here.
Jason, could you talk about the 4th down pass into the end zone to Mark Clayton and how that play developed? And did it look like it was tipped, or did he just drop it?
No, it was definitely tipped, and it wasn't. I just, it was 4th down, and just thought I'd give somebody a shot to catch it. It was kind of the last desperation play on that drive. So it was tipped by somebody, and Mark Clayton almost caught it.
Right here.
How much of a damper does this put on a season where you won a Heisman Trophy?
Dampers it quite a bit. You win 12 games, and that's extremely hard to do nowadays in college football, and you don't have anything to show for it. So, it's disappointing.
here on the left.
Bob, you're so used to Jason's numbers just being off the charts for about 12 games, and then these last 2 games they weren't quite as well. When people look at that, I mean, how much of it's him? How much of the defenses you faced?
Well, it's, you know, I've got, you know, I'm always going to compliment people we play, and those defenses we played are very good, you know, and have executed well. In the end, you know, Jason's not out there alone. You know, the players around them need to protect them, give them opportunities. Players need to catch everything when they have opportunities. We have some drop balls. You know, it's a team deal. Our coaches have to call the right plays and give them opportunities. So, you know, a lot of times you focus on one guy, but there's always a lot of hands that help. But defenses we played have been awfully good too.
On the left here.
Bob, could you please sum up what you said to your team at halftime?
Well, I felt, let's face it, as poorly as we played, missed tackles, had a million penalties, giving up turnovers after penalties. You know, it's 14-7. I mean, we got a game, you know, and so yeah, that's what I said. Listen here, we're not going to panic. This is nothing, you know. I don't know that we can play any more poorly, and it's 14-7. And you know, and then we come back and really a good part of that first half, even we were playing pretty good defensively. And then the second half, we really played well. You know, I look at we forced 8 punts just like they forced 8 punts on us. Same number of turnovers. You know, we didn't get a touchdown with it, but third down conversions were about the same. So, I mean, a lot of that, you know, that's what we said. Just calm down here. We tackle better. Quit getting some, you know, offensively getting penalties where we get ourselves backed up. We've got a chance to, you know, to be executing here and be in the game. And sure enough, we started to there and had our opportunities and just didn't convert. You know, they made the plays.
Right here.
Derek, two-part question. Coach, I'd like you to address this after Derek, too. It looked like Derek Strait was all over the field doing everything, but it also looked like your team lost its swagger these last couple of games. It looked like you went through 12, dominant, playing great. I know you were playing better competition, but it didn't look like your team had that swagger until that last drive to perhaps tie the game up. Did you see that? You were trying to fire up your team and the crowd, and then I wish Coach would comment on Derek Strait's game.
I wouldn't say we lost our swagger. I'd just say guys wasn't making the plays that we normally make. And, I mean, pretty much we was in the right position. Coach was calling the right calls and all that. Like Coach Stoops said earlier, pretty much we missed tackles and things like that because we was in the right position. So, I mean, you have to put it on us because we missed the tackles and things like that. They had us in the right positions.
Derek's sensational. I have I don't have a greater appreciation and respect for any player I've ever coached than Derek, with his toughness, his competitiveness, and the way he fights through an entire game. And again tonight, you know, he's banged up leg, and he's out there. He doesn't even think about it. And they're not a better competitor you ever go into a game with than him.
Right here in the third row.
Bobby, would you talk about wanting to get the ball in Mark Clayton's hands toward the end of the game, and particularly that 4th and 11 catch that kind of kept you alive there at one time?
Well, sure. Mark's a guy that, you know, our guys are going to look to. He's made a lot of sensational plays throughout the year, and I know Jason is comfortable with them, and we do design some plays to try and work them open, and, you know, but... You know, Coach Long could probably speak to that more. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm making offensive calls. So, but in the end, you know, Mark's a big-time player for us, definitely.
Coach, is this the best defense you faced since you've been in Oklahoma?
Yes, I'd probably say that's fair to say. Yeah. It's, you know, I think Kansas State probably this year, the way they played in that game, you know, although I guess we had a lot more yards, you know, moving the football a little bit more there. We just stalled out a few times. But, yes, overall, I would probably say that.
On the left side.
For the players, can you talk about your pride about playing for Coach Stoops?
I mean, you really can't explain it. You just have to be a part of our team and things like that, because all of us have pride in wearing the jerseys and things like that. We know there's a lot of tradition that comes with it, Then Coach Stoops when he first came in, I mean, he helped us as far as believing in winning traditions and things like that. So we just kind of built on that and it's been rolling ever since.
We've got time for one or two more questions. Anybody else before we break into the session right next to us? Any other questions? We'll take one more right here.
Thank you. Sorry. Jason, was that as frustrating a half as you've been through offensively? You guys had minus 3 yards total offense in the second quarter.
We just weren't making plays, and we were getting behind the sticks all night. We'd get, 3rd and 5 and jump off sides, and, now it's third and 15. So, we're getting behind the sticks all night, and you can't do much about it when you hurt yourself like that.
We pick up a first down on the 30-yard line going in, and we had a motion or a shift, and they call it back and never did overcome it. We had a 2nd and 1. We go procedure, gets a 2nd and 6, don't pick it up. So, that's right. You can't. They're hard to overcome against a great defense when you keep backing yourself up with penalties.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. Jason, Derek.
That's from you hear from the Oklahoma Sooners, Jason White, head coach Bob Stoops, among others. And Brent, this game definitely, as bad as Oklahoma played, as poorly as they executed in the first half with missed tackles and penalties, it boiled down to one crucial drive in the fourth quarter. 5 minutes to go on the clock. Oklahoma sidelines that erupted. The Sooners were playing great on offense. Kewan Jones, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards at a time on offense. Oklahoma gets the ball to the LSU 16, and they throw it on 4 consecutive downs. I thought that was very questionable play calling, as well as Oklahoma had finally established the line of scrimmage. They did not have much going, and of course the killer play. Kewan Jones sneaks out of the backfield. You'll see it coming up here in a second. Kewan Jones wide open, but not enough time for Jason White to set his feet and throw it into the end zone for a touchdown. It would have been a sure touchdown. You're going to see the play right here.
I think he hit it right on the head, too, because they run the ball. Kewan's getting 8. He's getting 10 yards each time. You have plenty of time to keep running the ball. There was 3 minutes to go. You can run the ball, get the touchdown, tie it, go to overtime. But they choose to pass. I don't understand it.
And the Sooners miss on 4th down there. Oklahoma's offensive game plan tonight, LSU was extremely well prepared. The Sooners had several wrinkles in the offense tonight that they had not used all year. One play where J.D. Runnels went out in motion, another kind of slip screen to Kewan Jones in the backfield. But those plays were well defended by LSU. They knew exactly what was happening at all times. So LSU came into this ballgame with a great plan, and they executed it better than the Oklahoma Sooners executed their game plan.
I'm still trying to make up in my mind if LSU's defense is that good. They're good, don't get me wrong, or if OU just didn't play that well across the board on offense. LSU's good, but they made Oklahoma look really bad. Only 2 drives did Oklahoma score on, and both were on short fields.
Key points, I think, in the first half, LSU surprised Oklahoma with a little bit of the way they play. They came up, they pressed. They had man coverage on Oklahoma's outside wide receivers, and Oklahoma really not quite sure what to do about that. It was a very similar game plan to Kansas State. Nick Saban, all season long, Nick Saban came with the blitz. You did not see the blitz in the first half tonight. Chad Lavallee, the defensive ends, Hill, Spears, and Pittman did a great job of getting pressure on Oklahoma on their own. So the Sooners really were forced just to throw into that deep coverage, that blanketed coverage. LSU played a lot of man-free, which means there is a free safety deep, and they play man coverage underneath. The free safety has the whole field, so you can't get beat on the deep ball. And Oklahoma had nowhere to go tonight in the passing game, Brent.
How good were the cornerbacks and defensive backs, period, for LSU? They go up, they make great plays all night long. Corey Webster, he is the real deal. He's a great cornerback.
Corey Webster is very good, and LSU, again, executed their game plan very effectively. Great defense. You talked about the corners. They were locked on all night. Great coverage for the Tigers defense. I thought Chad Lavallee was huge. He was all over the football field in the first half, making plays down the field. He was tough in there to move out of the way. But with all that being said, Oklahoma's offensive line rose to the occasion in the fourth quarter. The Sooners they mustered enough energy to move the ball down the field, and then it breaks down when they can't execute on 4 passing plays.
With as bad as the offense was playing, it would have been easy just to pack it in and see another Kansas State blowout. But no, they fought. They grit, determination. It really comes down to one touchdown. And that one touchdown, really the one that LSU scored on the first drive of the game. They go out and made Oklahoma's defense look bad on that first drive.
Also, Oklahoma's defense, though, after that first drive, played very well.
Very good after that.
Second half, their defense really played tough. Brandon Everidge missed several tackles in the first half, and he got yanked from the lineup. And Brodney Poole replaced him. Everidge came in, took Poole's position as a third down defensive back, and Poole came up with the play that really brought Oklahoma back into the ballgame, the big interception, which he returned down to the 30-yard line. This was not a fluke. This was a team that was as good as Oklahoma and proved that it was better than Oklahoma tonight.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the game highlights from this one. And there wasn't a lot of talk about really in that first quarter period, because LSU came out and they go for 24 yards after they fumble at their own at the OU 1-yard line. Skylar Green, 24-yard catch, 7-0 LSU.
Bob Stoops very upset with the defensive backs tackling there, as they were nowhere to be found on the Skylar Green run. Antonio Perkins was blown out on that play, but the Sooners are able to rally Brandon Shelby with the block, and the Sooners are set up with good field position, Brent.
Exactly. That turns into a Kewan Jones touchdown, 1 yard to tie the game at 7. Oklahoma right back in it.
Right after halftime, though, LSU would get a lot of momentum. And before we see that, Justin Vincent. What a night for Vincent. Very similar to Darren Sproles in Kansas City. Very shifty, had over 100 yards in the first half, 14-7 at halftime.
Yeah, second half, maybe the biggest play of the game. Jason White, another interception, very uncharacteristic for the Heisman Trophy winner. Marcus Spears takes it in for the score.
And then Oklahoma finally gets some momentum going in the second half. Matt Mox, one of 3 interceptions. Brodney Poole steps in front of it and then has some real estate to run. Poole takes it deep into Oklahoma territory and sets the Sooners up in good shape for a rally that comes up just short.
Kewan Jones cashes in for that touchdown to really bring the game to a 21-14 difference that Oklahoma's right back into this game. But when it comes down to the last plays of the game, Oklahoma can't get it done on that fourth down.
Fourth down play here. The Sooners come up short. Jason White sacked, pressured all night. As we mentioned, LSU did it without much blitzing, and that was all she wrote for Oklahoma. They finished the season 12-2, and it's very strange, Brent, from going to talk of one of the all-time best teams to a team that lost its final 2 games. Still a really, really good team. Still a very good team on offense, but tonight they went up against an LSU team that just played a great defensive game.
And Jason White wasn't on his game for another straight game. He had 6 interceptions through his first 12 games. In the last 2 games, he's thrown 4 interceptions. Is he the same quarterback he was at the beginning of the season? I don't think he is.
I'm a believer in the Heisman jinx. After being in New York, and I think Jason is one of the most grounded guys that I've ever had a chance to cover. He is not a guy that likes the limelight, but there's so much hype. You're in the Big Apple. You're in the big city. You have a limousine. Everyone's taking you around. You're interviewed by everybody. There is so much history in that room of guys that have won that award before, and it's just, I think, difficult to take yourself from that environment to come back to practice and have to really work hard. I don't think that had much to do with Jason's tonight. He just went up against a team that was better. It is tough, very tough for a young man that is his age, at 23, 24 years of age, to come back and have to go into this environment, work hard, get ready to play an LSU team that was hungry and ready to play Oklahoma.
Hats off to LSU, though. They played a great game start to finish, and they deserve a share of the national championship.
I'd like to see LSU and USC play, because USC's offense is outstanding, and LSU's defense, I'm a believer in it tonight. A very interesting moment after the contest tonight. Mark Clayton, who is a gamer for Oklahoma, I think you always see that he gives it 110% all the time out in the field. Oklahoma made a point to get him the ball tonight. You saw them hand the ball to him on reverses. They tried to throw it to him all night long, and he went head-to-head tonight and battled all night long with the LSU's quarterback, Travis Daniels. And the two met after the game. Travis Daniels actually had Mark Clayton sign his helmet as well as sign a T-shirt and sign his national championship hat. He said he did it out of respect. Tyler Suiters caught up with him just moments ago.
Mark, Brent, thank you. We're here with Travis Daniels. Travis, interesting exchange between you and Mark Clayton after the game. What was going on?
Well, we were just congratulating each other on how we played. He congratulated me on the win, and I congratulated him on things coming up in the future for him, like NFL and everything like that. To me, Mark Clayton, he's a real good guy. He played with a lot of character. He wasn't out there trying to do cheap shots on us when the game's about going down to the wire and everything. And, you know, I love playing against players like that.
How did you all turn it up so well against such a high-powered offense tonight, Travis?
Well, basically, we just believe in ourselves. We know if we stick to what we have to do, play within our system, then everything will come out fine. When you start trying to play, trying to do your own thing, and everybody else trying to do their own thing, then that's when you have problems. But when everybody work under one accord, then everything will turn out like it is.
Travis, final question for you. It didn't seem to bother you all at all that you were facing a Heisman Trophy quarterback.
No, No, it ain't bothered us none. We faced Eli Manning. Eli Manning was deserving of winning the Heisman as well, but Jason White got it. So week in and week out, we're always going against great quarterbacks and good receivers. Even in practice, with the receiving core that we got, they prepare us a lot for the game situation. So going against the Heisman quarterback really didn't bother us none. If anything, it added to what we needed to do.
Travis, you played a great game. Congratulations on the national championship.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right. Mark Brent, terrific game by the LSU secondary. Back to you.
Thanks, Tyler. We appreciate that. Again, got to give the LSU defense credit. We got plenty more to come in the show. We're going to talk about OU's energy on the sidelines, and we want you to log on to channelOklahoma.com and vote for who should receive our game ball. We have some nominees for you, the three.
And the nominees for game ball. First off, Clayton. How about that guy? Wide receiver goes out, performs. He had a decent game, even in the light of everything that happened to Oklahoma.
That's right. Mark Clayton, an outstanding player. Also for LSU, Justin Vincent. LSU's really started to take off when he got more carries, averaged 6.5 yards per carry on the season, had 200 yards against Georgia, and was the game MVP tonight. And then our final game ball nominee is Lavallee. ChannelOklahoma.com is where you can vote. We will give away our game ball a little bit later on in the show. Much more to talk about. I also spoke with Bo Pelini, who was on the Oklahoma sidelines tonight, asked him about his future. We'll have that and much more coming up right after this. We're live in New Orleans on the road to a championship that is now LSU's.